My third area, we were out in a very small town near the foothills of the Andes. A missionary that was there a few years before me headed for the Andes. He was missing. It was on the news in Chile, and they found him in a small village in Argentina, just living with some family. And being there for a while, I was like, I could see how someone could go crazy being here, being a missionary. My companion was a nice guy, junior companion, but I told him we're equals. We taught a lot of people. At this time, Elder Holland came to live in Chile to help with retention. Membership stats in Chile is like 1%, like 1 out of every 100. That was because in the early 90s, they would have baptism parties. They'd invite a bunch of people to a baptism, and they'd say, who feels the Spirit? Who wants to get baptized? Line up, and they'd just start dunking people and putting their names. So we'd knock on doors, and we'd be like, hi, we're missionaries of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Have you talked with missionaries like us before? People would usually say, yeah. And we'd say, oh, have you ever gone to the church? And a lot of people would say, yeah. And then we'd say, were you baptized in the church? And a lot of people would say, yeah. So they were baptized members, but never really went to church. So the church was trying to reactivate all these members, and that's why Elder Holland was there. And he gave us these goals that we needed to visit so many inactive or less active members and give them the missionary discussions again and try and get them to come back to church. So we added that to our schedule, visiting a lot of members. There was one family that we were teaching. The guy was a pastor, but he left his church because some drama happened or something, and he really enjoyed the spiritual conversations with us. So we went through all of the missionary discussions. At the time, it was before the Preach My Gospel book, but it was these 7 discussions that people would have to go through to listen to and make commitments, like reading the Book of Mormon, getting baptized, going to church, obeying the word of wisdom, obeying the law of chastity, following the prophets. But we went through all 7 discussions, and they didn't feel ready to get baptized, but they wanted us to keep coming. And the policy that they tell the missionaries is if people aren't progressing fast, write their name in a book, you can go back to them later. Your time is just, you need to go get baptisms. Don't waste your time with those people. But I was like, it's not a waste of time. Like, they want to hear the message. A lot of people don't. And I thought of my own dad who studied the church for a whole year before he got baptized. And I was like, nah, if they want us to keep coming and giving lessons, we're going to keep going. Got another companion there from Uruguay, really nice guy. Some funny things happened. I'd often be looking at the ground while we were walking, and there'd be like a pole in the middle of the sidewalk, and I'd hit it, and he would just laugh so much. Or I'd step in a puddle, and he'd laugh. There's a saying in Chile, for someone who's gay, they say his umbrella went inside out. Se dio vuelta su paraguas. I'm not really sure why. But we're walking in the rain, and I stepped in a puddle, and he started laughing, but a gust of wind came, and my umbrella went inside out, and he started laughing even more. One morning it was cold, windy, and rainy, and he was like, we should just sleep in today. And I was like, heck yeah. So we slept in. That was nice. There was this girl around our age that we were teaching, and she fell in love with me, I guess. That happened everywhere I went. But she was giving me like love notes and stuff. She wasn't really interested in the church, just in me. So we kind of stopped visiting her. I remember she asked me one time, I heard that your church believes that you guys can become gods. And I was like, yeah, it's true, but it makes sense when you hear the logic behind it, that we're all children of God and we're here in this life to become more like him and eventually go back and live with him. Well, she was pretty angry that I wasn't in love with her too. So after I left that area, she started spreading rumors about me that weren't true. There were a couple of times that I couldn't sleep at night, and I knew there was like a Independence Day festival going on, so I just got out of bed and went and walked by myself, which is totally against the rules, but I kind of felt like I needed it mentally, and I just went and like talked to some people. They were dancing. Actually, I did dance with a girl. I wasn't supposed to do that either. But what this girl was saying wasn't true, and the rumors she was spreading got to my mission president after I had transferred to the next area. So in the next episode, I'll talk about how my mission president threatened to send me home.